we are going to talk about Equatorial prospects of development and unity. And we are going to have two individuals today to come and talk on this subject. And they will be interchanging between themselves. We will try our best to accommodate also questions at the end of their presentation. And their discussions are going to be around how local civil society organizations can influence development and unity of Equatorians. And they will be able to tell us more about this. This is a very important discussion. It involves, for those of you who don't know, the local civil society organizations. This includes community-based organizations, cultural organizations or associations, interest-based groups, women rights groups, farmers. These are all encompassed of the CSOs. So with that being said, before the two get onto the topic, I will ask both of them to come to the stage, and I will introduce them on a little bio so that you guys get to know them very well before they engage in the topic. So I'm going to ask my brother Michael Duku to come forward, please. And I'm going to ask also my brother Moses Bruni to come forward. A round of applause, please, for them. An introduction of the two in the form of a bio. I'm going to start with Mr. Michael Duku. Mr. Michael Duku came to Canada on 19th June 1986. Okay, some of us even didn't think of coming out of Juba yet. After completing his studies in Egypt in business management in the American University in Cairo. By the way, that's where the university I went to as well. And he was in Toronto. Also, he went to school in Toronto and completed his studies in business administration at the Centennial College, where he completed 3 years diploma, and later joined the Alaska University, where he completed his degree program. He worked for a certain company in Toronto after finishing his studies. In 1998, he joined the UNDP in the United Nations headquarters in New York. In 2001, he was sent to work with the UN peacekeeping mission in East Timor, which was to prepare East Timor to get its independence from Indonesia. So that's the part in Indonesia. And he worked there from 2001 to 2006. In January 2007, he was sent to work with the UN peacekeeping in Sudan, which was to implement the comprehensive peace agreement signed between the South Sudan and the Northern Sudan government in 2005. He participated in assisting the people of South Sudan to prepare for voting, whether to be part of Sudan or to be a separate country. He did the same thing for the people of East Timor, that is in Indonesia. And he used to also fly all parts of South Sudan, of course by the helicopter. And then also he went to, in South Sudan, vote for independence. Omar Bashir was, I think, by then, the president, and of course not happy with the resolution of that. In order for us, that's what he's saying, in order for us to remove him from Khartoum. Okay, so this is just an indication of how the voting happened towards the independence of South Sudan. In December 2011, he moved to the headquarters to Juba to give support to the new government of South Sudan. So as you can see from his bio, he is been in more than one place and involved in a lot of things to do with humanitarian from the perspective of organizations like the UN. Coming to our brother Moses, a little bio, Moses Samuel. Most of you know him by the name Tondo. He's born and raised in Juba, South Sudan. Education-wise, Kator Primary School, Intermediate School, at Labara High School. Some of you know at Labara. Adbara. Okay, sorry. I was reading it at Labara because of... And I was thinking, where is this high school in Labara? All right, sorry, my mistake. Red Deer College obtained a diploma in social work. University of Calgary, major in sociology and minor in political science. Walden University, US College of Social and Behavioral Science, obtained a master's in global social science. That's where also I had to do my doctorate. His current and previous work, employment, placement service, complex support worker, current, and a Catholic social service settlement counselor that was previous, Locombe Action Group, behavioral specialist that was previous, Red Deer Housing Authority, tenant license support worker. This is Karen. Some of his hobbies, he likes African music, Western music, and he reads books a lot. Also, he's a soccer fan as well. His passions are in leadership, activism, and social change. So, this is the two bios for the two individuals that you are seeing here. Today, they are going to share with us and talk a little bit on the equatorial prospect of development and unity, and especially dealing with the CSOs, how they can influence the development and unity of Equatorians. And I think also, even though they're going to take in general, but it also applies to us here in Canada. So with that, I would like us all to welcome our brother, Mr. Michael Duku, as the first person to present, and then I think they will interchange as they go down the road. So Michael, you're welcome to share some of the presentations you have. Thank you.
Yes, as we're talking, we are here to discuss about the unity with the, how to illustrate our local civil society organizations. Civil society organization, community-based association, both in Canada and in South Sudan, which can be instrumental in the empowerment of people of Equatoria and the development of our local societies, consequently creating the conducive environment to foster unity of Equatoria, both in Canada and in Equatoria back home. And I see that because of the situation back home, most of our people are living in refugee camps. Even those who are in cities, in Juba, they are suffering. Wherever they are, they are suffering. And I see that they're really in the need of help whenever it can come from. Some stay hungry for the whole day, they're nothing to eat. So I see it as the main focus compared to our people in Canada. Also, we need to talk about unity in Canada, but in the beginning I started to more emphasis on our Equatorial community. It's a Equatorial community back home. So by definition, Equatoria is the land bordering Democratic Republic of Congo in the west, and in the south is bordering Uganda, in the east is bordering Kenya, and in the north is bordering Jongoli province, And in northwest is bordering Bahir Gaza. Why I come up with this definition? Because there are some people who are not Equatorians who are not claimed to be Equatorians. And they are even written in their websites that their land extending from bordering Kenya, Uganda, and Congo. I said, okay, if this is their land, then why are they Equatorians? So this is why we need to tell our young children who are born here to know where Victoria is, where it is located. And we should focus on community-based association in the Equatorial region in South Sudan. How? By identifying what problems they have in the towns and in the villages, local areas. What's there on the ground? Because to be able to assess them, we need to know what they are facing, what's there on the ground, what are their needs, and how can we cater for their needs to alleviate them from poverty, to alleviate them to see that they have medical assistance. How can we assist them? So once we have identified their needs, then we could work with humanitarian NGOs to provide those services that they need. And we could partner with organizations such as UNDP, UNICEF, to assist children in terms of education, and UNMIS. UNMIS is also doing a lot in the South Sudan. CIDA is Canadian International Development Agency, based in Ottawa. We can lobby with them and see what service they can offer to our people through our coordination from here to help people who are there on the ground after identifying their needs. And other humanitarian related NGOs. Secondly, we could work in partnership with organizations such as Global Affairs Canada, which can fund organizations for women empowerment for Equatoria, people both in Canada and in South Sudan. This organization helps people who are marginalized, women, minority who are marginalized in terms of job opportunities, and all kinds of things. We can do further research and identify and communicate with them. Once organize ourselves to see that our community in Canada, women and men who are marginalized or somebody, how can they be assisted? The same to the people also in the Equatorial region, back home. For UNMIS, I say UNMIS can fund any quick impact project up to $25,000. Is there. People are not aware. You can organize yourself as a community and write a proposal. You go to UNMIS, to the Department of Civil Affairs, there are forms there. They can fund any project you want to do, whether you want to have a dispensary to people, or you want to build a small school, or you want furniture for your school in the areas, classrooms, whatever, desks. And they can also fund all kinds of funds. Sometimes when I ask women to fight poverty, they can write a proposal where they can be given this $25,000, they can start a business or open a restaurant to fight poverty, to empower themselves financially. It is there. Because when I was working there, we used to find all those projects are there, and they found that most people who were benefiting, a lot of people from Bahir, because once it's funded, your auditors also go there to see what are the structures done there with that money. What you do is write a proposal, they give you 80% of that amount, 20% will withhold it. After doing what you are doing, you come with the receipts, you present, then they give you the balance. But some of the people, they apply, when they got the money, they just do small things or they never come back. Some of the money they squander or whatever, but anyway, no, there's no accountability there. But it is there. So this is what, once we start with this is what we should send our Equatorial community back home to try these opportunities, to empower themselves, to get out of poverty, any challenges they have. There's fun there, it's only for them to go about. People can come by with projects. It could be construction or dispensary, water borehole. Water borehole in area, there is no water there. You can also make a proposal, they can fund it. You can either to water, maybe to water your garden. There's fund that they can use for that. They also use to water their gardens. School women association to fight poverty. They could apply to get money to open restaurants or any kind of business they can to bring income. But they have to connect themselves as an organization. That's already justification for that. Third, we should have representatives from all parts of Equatoria who could give us information about what is happening on the ground, which I already mentioned before. They should send us photos, videos about what incidents or about any work progress that is going on there. Once we give them some assistance. Local chiefs could be a bigger role in it, and they could not be left out. Even if there's something in the village, in the grassroots, chiefs are more loyal. They have power also. There are people who can be spoken to, who can respond, whenever assistance is needed there, they could be the contact. But we should establish people to communicate with us. We do some practice all over Equatoria. So that is part of civil association work called information dissemination. Fourth, the people who are chosen to run the head office should be the ones to communicate with our Equatorial community in South Sudan. To be able to do that, we must first organize ourselves here in Canada. And we should establish ourselves with a strong unity. We should have a well-registered Equatorial Association head office either in Calgary, Edmonton, or Ottawa. I hope it is there because I don't know, maybe they're already there. Exists probably. Other branches should report to the head office. We should have a bank's account with funding it. We have to make minimum monthly contribution and fundraising activities to raise money to our community, here in the back home especially. Lastly, we should stand together to protect and defend Equatorial region. Any attack on any part of Equatoria region is an attack on all Equatorians' land. And we should also, Equatorians who are here, we should organize capacity building seminars to train our children, like what I saw today presented by the young girls. I'm proud of you. We should have this kind of seminars to give capacity building for our children, for all adults, like the presentation made by Brother Mila. These are very good, I'm so impressed. And there is another capacity building, how we organize ourselves, how we can guide our children. There are some children whose parents and whose fathers are not there, maybe one single mother. How can they be assisted? Because we will become the fathers, so I help them. Because most of children, like from when they reach from age of 12 plus, they feel they're big. They cannot listen to the mother anymore. They become disobedient. They never listen or drop out of school, they never listen to the parents. So these are people, these are children, we should talk to them, advise them to help our community, to support each other. And we as Equatorians here, we should have unity among ourselves, support each other in all kinds of circumstances. And this is a commitment, dedication. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Duku. And now we will hear from our brother Moses. Go ahead, please.
Discussing unity and development, which are the fundamentals for our progress. And secondly, I would like to say thank you, organizers, just to grant this opportunity to me to be here today. I used to be a teacher. I'm not comfortable talking and sitting. I always very happy when I talk and look into your eyes and move around. Let me get here. I'm going to be practical, talking about the unity and development. Number one, there is no development without unity. Otherwise, you're going to be a daydreamer. And if you want this community to progress and move forward, you have to unite. Otherwise, well, Let me just go back for 1955 in Torit. The first bullet, I believe, August 18, if I'm not mistaken. That bullet was a result of unity among Equatorians. They managed to get together, had a plan, executed the plan, and then that was within the spectrum of Equatorial region. And then others join, become a macro society. So that unity delivered the country called South Sudan right now. That was as a result of that unity. But we fail to keep that unity because society is dynamic. Society changes. It's not static. That was the unity of your great-grandfather, your grandfather, your father, and mine as well. To the extent you don't know the difference between our left hands and our right hands. This is one. Number two, I just want to take you back to Saskatoon conference. Those who were there in Saskatoon, we had a boy. He stood right at front of us in Saskatoon. He said, "You guys, I was a child. I have heard that people are talking about unity of Equatorian. Now I'm graduate. You're still talking about the unity of Equatorian." Mila, you're there. Oching, you're there. That statement echoes in my brain all the time. You're still talking about the unity of Equatorian. And now we're still talking about the unity of Equatorian. What a shame. It is indeed shameful. When you're united in a family, and 10 other families in that neighborhood all united, you come as a society, and other society from east and west come together united, you'll have a stronger country. You'll have a stronger country. And that's so important. But the question is, as that young boy told us, are you still talking about the unity of Equatorian? This tells me you cannot discuss the unity of Equatorian over the kitchen table. And you cannot discuss the unity of Equatoria in such a conference. The only thing you would indicate in such a conference, ask a question, how can we be united? What are the indicators that will help us to be united? Look, this morning, we are so resourceful. Human capital. It's beautiful ladies, and I believe there are many of them outside there. And if you have human capital, financial capital will come as a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. The question is, why are we not doing that? We know it. This unity is problematic. This unity is a cancer. This unity is killing us. We know it. And we are harboring it. We are hugging it. We are hugging it day and night. Why don't we divorce ourselves from this unity? This is the aspect of unity. The other aspect of unity. I remember before this conference, I got a call from Tuka. He said, Moses, it seems like we're not going to have Equatorial Conference this year, and no one would no one want to host it. Would you mind to bring it? If you could bring it to radio, I said, bring it. And later, we have courageous, united Equatorians took it over. They said, we'll do it here in Edmonton. Why are we here today? Because they were united. They had right attitudes. Right attitudes is so important. And I was so thrilled by the way, Mila, when you presented, but I didn't have a chance to say something. Let me just interject here. If you want to succeed in life, you must have the right attitude. If you want to be educated, you must have the right attitude. I want to give you one example. We, especially Equatorians, we have a bad attitude when it comes to education. And I will tell you why. Some of us who are heavily in the student loan and sometimes ended up cleaning and working in Walmart, we have heard people are saying, I resolved that much of pajama as a grade for Walmart, why should I go to school? Oh, you got Allaham, why should I go to school? Do you know that Allaham will make that person greater one day? You have to educate this 16 grams. If you left it down, you will pay the price. Some of us now working heavily in the big offices. Insulted, but right now I work for housing authority. Right there. I'm there. Just because of education. Our parents used to tell us education is a light. It's a light. They were not stupid. They are right then and they're right now. Coming back to the topic. Once you formulate that unity, and that unity will not just come like you wake up from your sleep, you're already in unity. You must have a vision. You must have a vision of who you would like to be tomorrow. And you must have a mission of what does it take to realize the unity. And you have massive goals. This is a logistic will take you towards your vision. Vision, simply the end of the road. If I want to go to Kotor to Gudule is my vision. This is my end of the road in Gudule. So my mission to go to Gudule, first of all, I have to make sure I'm safe physically. Arabia Dayama Bisadimu, Arabia Dayanif, Fuel Malian. This is my mission to get to my vision. So my goals here, I have to make sure, and in the gurus, I said, benzine for Arabia. I said, Arabia Bodana for Gudule. Well connected. Vision, mission, goals. If they're big goals, break them to the objectives. We'll take you over there. So we Equatorian, we must have a vision of who we are, of who we would like to be. If you have a unity of purpose, by the way, because you cannot just be unity for what? You must have a purpose. Coexistence, progress, development, and all this. And this vision must be guided with values, respect, integrity, or hajadel. We're united and fighting each other all the time. What is that? That cannot work. Once you have a vision of what Equatorial community should be, an example here in Edmonton, ESSCA, you should make sure that you stick on your vision. You should make sure that you have concrete missions and goals and objectives that take you towards your end of the road, which is your vision. But this needs an organization. You have to be well organized. This takes us back to the human capital and then us. We are capable to doing anything. Even this ESL program, we don't want to go anywhere. We created among the ESSCA community. We have educators, people who are capable to do this. But we just believe in different skins are better than us. That is sickness. That is sickness. That's important things. You have unit of purpose, it's very important. And then from there you formulate your vision, how you like to be, and make sure, execute it, work on it, and make sure you monitor it, how does it going? There are glitches, you fix it while you're moving on, and then evaluate it, what went wrong, what was successful. So next time you capitalize on the success, and you also make sure that you mitigate the failures. That is how human develops, community develops, country goes on otherwise.
insights into Equatorial unity with a purpose. Now we have come to the Q&A sessions. I will have a couple of follow-up questions for each, and then I will open it up to the floor or the audience. If you have a questions, if you have a question, please be direct, so that we can make use of the time and also get the appropriate answers. Now we talked a lot about unity from both. Michael Duku talked about the wide experience and engagement and how you can benefit where you are to capitalize towards unity and development. And also our brother Moses was talking about us specifically here. What does it mean for us unity? Without a purpose, without a vision, it is meaningless. So with that being said, we are living in this country, right? We came from different backgrounds, and we have engaged in different experiences. We have associated ourselves with different organizations, whether back home or even here in our normal community activities. And also some of you here may also have associated with some organizations here in Canada, interacted with them, right? Now, my question to Michael, since you talked about, how can we benefit from some of the things here, especially when it comes to the area of finance, developing engagements so that you can begin to learn from existing or potential allies here in Canada. My question goes to you. How can the Equatorians in Canada use the knowledge of other organizations here in Canada to foster, of course, development, okay, in this aspect? And I'm talking about here in Canada because like I mentioned, there are other organizations that we are interacting with. Most of you or some of you have even deep engagements with those organizations. How can we leverage the knowledge of those organizations in improving our unity and also developing our community here to be stronger, even to help ourselves here and back home? That is a question for you. My other question I'm going to ask Moses. In your experience so far here in Canada, and it's good that you are now engaging, you're talking about engaging in housing authorities and all this, which is really a good place to be. That means basically knowledge also. In your opinion, who or which CSO can be a potential ally, okay, that we Equatorians can tap into, all right, to build a strong and a successful a community so that we can begin to benefit ourselves and help foster our development as well. So this is the question to you. I will give the first chance to Michael to answer, and then Moses, you will come in. Thank you.
Thank you, John Rubena, for the question. As I mentioned earlier, once we organize ourselves as a strong community and we establish our office, we can request government can give us some funding to a strong community. And by doing that, we can get some funding, we can organize consultants come to give us capacity building seminars to help us improve our lives, how to gain education, how to gain all opportunities, job opportunities. They're also there. Once you get hired, you are improved yourself. But those things are depending on us when we organize ourselves and we are registered, we can ask for funding from the government we can get, and also for other NGOs, which will be there to help us out. And this will be like improving our community, which will lead to job opportunities, which will also improve our life here, and we will also be able to help people back home as well. Once we organize ourselves, everything will be easy. But once we organize ourselves, once we do that, everything will go with the whole in place.
Thank you very much. Moses?
Thank you for the question, Brother John. But before I could talk about partnership, I think that's your question is going gearing towards that. We must have very stronger community. That's number one. Community means what? You need stronger leadership. Without leadership, you can't do anything. This is my opinion. We are capable enough. The concept of volunteer leaders, that they run community based on volunteerism, that's some of the setbacks we have been having in this community, comparing to other communities that I have known. So in my opinion, leadership of ESSCA must be paid. And we are more than capable to pay those leaders to run the community so that they'll be accountable to us. If they're not accountable, they're not accountable, then they face the consequence of the job they have accepted. This is one. Number two, partnership. I think we should not left any stone unturned. This means all the community organizations exist in our ecosystem, in our environment. There must be our partners in one or another, because we have complex situation from within the community. And that complexity must be addressed from the point of view that who does what. And who does what depends on the problems we are having in the community, and formulating allies with those organizations to mitigate problems that we have in the community is fundamental. And that begins with leadership, otherwise.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tondo. And now we are going to go to the audience, and if they have a few questions, will be directed. If you have a question that is directed to a specific speaker, please mention it so that they can get the question and they can answer. So we have at least about 10 minutes. If you have a question, please raise your hand. The mic will be passed to you by your community here in Canada specifically, and what can be done about that. And if you have any thoughts. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Onesimo Elia. I lived in Calgary and also former chairman of the Equatorial Community in Calgary. My question is about unity, and this is based on tribal line. We're struggling so hard to actually bring together all our sub-tribal communities in Alberta, for example, or in Canada, to come to such organizations. What can you do as a sub-tribal representative or as a community tribe to make our community, to bring this people together so that our community is very strong? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. And I think this question is directed to anyone can answer. Maybe we can take one more if somebody has, yes. I see.
My name is Arcangelo from Calgary too. Okay. Now, I think this is a good thought. Okay, about the unity of the Equatorial. Now, I would just want to give you this as a challenge and as a question too that we have to answer. Maybe the other two guys can answer. Now, our unity as Equatorian, I don't think that this unity is going to be possible. I'm not discouraging the young ones, okay? Today in Equatoria, with all these tribal that we do have, or ethical group that we are within Equatoria, we do have this unity within that tribal itself. And then now we came up with the conferences that we do as a body, Lutuko or Moro or whatever. I think this has weakened the big umbrella which is the Equatorial. Because like now today I will be like, what is it that Equatorial ESSCA is all about? What is so important in it? And we are going there, what are we going to do? What is it going to change? Because I'm already satisfied with my group as a bar. Okay? Today, I can give you an example. If you look at the African Union today, I think African Union today is weak because of all those communities that have been formed, ECOWAS and then the East African community. So the functionality of the African Union today, it has become so really weak. This is how I compare, okay, with our unity within Equatorial. Now, I'm not saying all the grouping that we do is bad. Is it okay? But again, we look at the bigger size of it. Okay? Ojeng is here, I think like a month ago he was in the US. And today he's here for Lokoya, okay? And today he's here for Equatorial. Babire is here too. And Dicky. Now I think that will be the spirit that we should be looking into. Because of the bigger umbrella of Equatorial. Other programs that we do, that's okay. We challenge ourselves internally. And then we bring all those, we bring to the umbrella that we can also answer as a bigger one. At least to give development to the what? To the all those smaller groups that we are. So the challenge is all those groups, the tribal that we are, with all those conferences that we do. Okay? What can we do about it? Is it true that this could be a source of weakening the unity of Equatoria, or what is it? And what about myself who is alone? Okay? Now, where will I go? I should be depending on this because I'm alone. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I thank you for that elaborate explanation. I hope there is a question in that. So I think there is some correlation with the first question. So anyone can answer this.
Okay, thank you for that important question. Let me say, if you go back, what I'm always mentioned about a young movement which started in 1955. During that time, Equatorians were united, they were one. Despite the fact that we were spread in Equatoria, different tribes, different languages, we were one. During that time, my father was called a front. During a young movement, a front means a person who was like a chief who was assigned to feed any coming in that area. So I used to see some there were Equatorians, there were Pojulu, there were Lutuko, there were Papari speakers like a Kuku, Bari, Kakwa, Mundari, what is not our language. When they come to hear their language. But one time I came to our home, I saw people speak totally different language. And you look alike, say, why these people? Those are Lutukos. They came there to be fed. So Equatorians were united. Long time ago they are one. But there are some people in this South Sudan who see unity of Equatoria is a threat to them. So I remember when I went to school, I finished my high school in Bor. I started school in Uganda, then the war was overthrown. I went to South Sudan, and there were very few schools. Some of the schools, there was Loka and Rumbek, and there were many. So I was sent to work to study in Bor. So we were there, some of us were studying in Bor, Equatorians. And should any Equatorian kill a Dinka, they can revenge by killing a Lutuko. If a Kakwa kills a Dinka, they say Equatorians as we are one people. They can't differentiate. They can revenge by killing a Moro, Lutuko, Lokoya, Kuku, you name it, because this as we are one. So we had that unity. The unity continues up to today. So to divide us, and that's why we have to get rid of. We still have to stick one together. Whatever government is trying to do, that is immaterial. make another state in Tarakeka, Quebec State, Central State, to divide us so they can control us, because they see Equatoria as a threat. And that's what we are aspiring to break down. Those ones can remain there, but we cannot take their policies, which is divide and rule. So we stick together. We have to talk to our people in the villages, different tribes will sit up. We have to restore our unity of Equatoria as it used to be. And nobody can break us. We are one bond.
Yes, thank you.
In my opinion, the tribes within Equatoria are our pride. This is the beauty of Equatoria, it's mosaic. But here's the problem. The problem is, as I've said earlier, society is dynamic. The problem is, those tribes right now live in a cocoon with the rigid boundaries within Equatorial region. So if Moro is fenced by the rigid boundary and Kakua fenced by the rigid boundary and so forth, then there will be friction all the time and no unity. That's an example of disunity. Equatoria, you must need a cultural factor that unites the society, such as language. Arabi Juba united us. But the danger, I was watching SSTV yesterday, there was a comedian, a comedy is all now in Arabi Bahta, Lugha Arabiya Bahta. It means what? Arabi Juba is fading away. It means the unified factor, yes, that united us as Equatorians is fading away. But coming back to Onesimo, how could we regain or retain that unity? That's what forged by our great-great-parents and now is fading away. Here, my answer to you, Mr. Chairman. We have seen an example of human capital today when those youths were presenting. We have educators who are capable of doing so many things. And I have indicated that the unity of Equatorian cannot be talked over the kitchen table or in such conferences. The unity of Equatorian, we must ask ourselves the question, why are we not united? What can be done? Those students in university, in colleges, they must be selfless to do research about this in Equatorian community. The research topic, for example, why Equatorians are not united. How can this tribe of Equatorian live in peace and harmony and progress and development and come with the findings? Those are the concretes. That's how people develop here in West. People look for the concrete problems in order to find a concrete solution. So we cannot assume our problem is cultural or Boros doing this, Kakwas doing that, that's one united, Abogar, we're united. No! We must find a concrete problem and then project concrete solution to solve this problem. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Moses. Okay, we will take some more questions here in Canada with all the examples. I have one there and two other here.
I don't know, David?
Duku.
Yes.
Yes, Duku, yeah.
Like you say, like we have to write the proposal and doing this and doing that. We understand that. But if we have the proposal and the proposal we did, but we need to take it back home, who can we ask about the land?
Thank you.
Yes, and another one is like, why the land is so expensive for Equatorial, and the land is for Equatorial.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you captured this is directed to you, Duku. You hold on that. We are going to take two more. Yeah, there's one here and there is Oching here. So first Joyce and then,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you, John, for giving me the opportunity. My question goes to both of you. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Georgia Paul. I'm from Calgary. I've seen so many Calgarians here, and my question is going to be like this. I think Equatorians, we have been oppressed, and Can you guys hear me? Being
Yes,
oppressed, I get to see that we Equatorians have been affected with that. So I know we are humble people, we are lovely people and all of that. But now the divide and rule political part of it, it's affecting us. And now I see Equatorians have hate. Even if we're doing conferences like this was not supposed the number of Equatorians that are here in Alberta or all over Canada. So it's just sad that we ourselves don't come out to our events. This is a huge conference. We do it yearly, but sadly, we don't see other tribes. Like, we don't support ourselves. Although this political thing is back home, but it's indirectly affecting us here. I just hope that more Equatorians should come out. We should discuss about this. It should be an ongoing thing, and we need to unite, you know? So thank you.
Thank you so much. So yeah, thank you very much for the comment, Jojo. I think that was a comment. So let's give, yes, please, thank you.
This is William again from Vancouver. Mine is also a comment regarding possibly why some of the people couldn't be here. Like we saw a very big number of our community from Barrie, Calgary, with beautiful performances, attendance. It was beautiful. The reason is economically, some of them cannot even attend. Even attending one of Calgary was like a burden to some of people who are coming from, for instance, Ontario and then coming here. My suggestion is we need to be wise. There was an issue of economics talk here. We need to be wise as Equatorians. Probably, if we value our ethnic group, which really they are very important for our kids or the future of Equatoria, it is just my suggestion that Equatorians should have a rotating schedule. Say this year, for instance, for a big umbrella of Equatoria, community. And then the following year will be for ethnic to give a chance to the ethnic groups to do their things. And then it can be fixed, like how we are doing every year in August, like our conference the same time. It can be fixed every second year, so that it allows also our kids to learn our different cultures, and then economically it's affordable. That is the suggestion that I have to Equatorians. If we are serious, we can implement it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that was a comment. Okay, we'll come to you. Before coming to you, I think there is somebody back there who actually had the hand first. So.
Okay, أنا بسلمكم كلكم.
Your voice, please. Can you put the mic close? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just greet you all. The name of our country or our region, Equatoria. That's what today we are here. I just want to put my voice to watching what he said. If that was like we all represented in ESSCA or in our own community level, that can work out. If we can take like a year off, we can go to our own small community that we come from, then the other one will be there. If we see the people that they always represent in ESSCA, they're just like few people that they're coming. Is it a problem for us to bring every staff community to be participate so we can know why the other people that they don't want to participate?
Thank you.
Okay, my answer going to the question raised by the sister there. She asked that I told about writing a proposal, like to build whether a house, a clinic or dispensary, and the land is expensive in Juba. If you want to open something, for instance, it doesn't mean that you have to be necessarily in Juba. What I said is you can have a dispensary whether in Torit, in Yei, in Kajokeji, in Maridi, Anyway, in the village, you just come with a proposal. I want money to do this and that, and you give them the money. Because some people are given money to open projects, quick impact projects in Wow, in Kwajok, but they give them the money in Khartoum. And then they have to travel from Khartoum to see those projects. So there's no boundary. And if you want to open it to have a restaurant or whatever, you can tell them, look, we need to have a restaurant for men empowerment. Oh, we need this money to rent a place. If you don't have to have a land, you can rent and operate from there. Women association will rent a place, or you rent a place and make a restaurant. And if you want to build like a clinic, dispensary, you can build in the village. In the village, land is cheap. Sometimes you get it for free. And you say, why is it expensive? Land is expensive in Juba. In any place, according to economics, law of demand, supply and demand. In a big city, when there's high demand for land, the price goes up. Because the population in Juba is increasing, and land, the price that the high demand for a land, that's how land becomes so expensive. But you can get that money and build a dispensary like in Loka, like a Kwajok, like a Parajok, any rural area, you can give them the money and build your dispensary, or whether a school, or whatever you want, you give them the money. There's no boundary that's people in Juba, no. I have answered your question. Yes. What is the other question, number 2? If you remember, you answer that.
Reference to my brother Ching and sister Flora there. Your question is there's a policy things. This takes us back to vibrant, stronger, well-formulated community with the proper leadership. These are the policy things. When the policy states, then must be executed accordingly. If not, then must be a problem. So these things require a stronger leadership for these things to happen. Otherwise, we will just talk it as an idea. Our problem is this. We have brilliant ideas. And all of you will attest to that. The country we are leveraging right now or not, this is some of them, mostly our ideas, taken and shipped somewhere else. We are good at formulating our ideas, but we have to learn how to execute those ideas. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. A big round of applause for our panelists, please. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for answering all these great questions. I know there are some few questions that are coming in, but because we wanted to catch up with lunch over there, it's getting late and it's getting cold. So hopefully we will follow up with some of those questions individually. But I really want to thank you all for your patience and tolerating until this time. We are late in the hours, but I will give back the mic to the MC, who will direct us towards the table at the back. And again, one more round of applause for our panelists, please. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Moses, for your time.
Pray for us, pray for the food that we're about to take. And then we will have half an hour for our lunch. If you can maybe just grab your lunch and come sit down and, and then that will go faster, because we really need to catch up with our time. So, Vicky.
Hey, let's bow our heads and pray. Oh, dear Lord, thank you for the food that you've given us, oh God. We pray that you bless the hands that have prepared the food, and you bless each and every one of us as we partake. As we eat this food, we want to remember those who don't have, that you will continue to bless them and bring food unto them. And as we eat, the food will nourish our body, and we will continue to bless your name. Thank you.
As Equatorians and make money. And among us, we have people who actually got some knowledge on how to go about that and how to start small businesses. So I think this is really important that we also pay attention to this session today that we're going to start with, because it's really going to give us good strategies on how we can go about starting small businesses. And this is going to be from somebody life experience, somebody who actually started a business. And they will give you some strategies, and I'm hoping that you guys will have questions that come and talk to us and give us some strategies on how we can go about things. So And he is our presenter. This is Mr. Abdullahi Berry. He is a program manager with Action for Healthy Communities. He obtained master's degree in finance, entrepreneurship, and business development from Nancy University in France, and completed a project leadership and management certificate from NAID, Alberta. He is a strong supporter of economic development. Mr. Abdul drives entrepreneurship initiative, fostering job creation and implementing strategic plans. He is skilled in building strong partnership, managing multiple projects and budgets, and developing successful programs. He is a community-based person who served as a board of directors in 6 different nonprofit organizations in Edmonton. He is passionate about creating sustainable economic growth and improving community well-being. He lives in Edmonton, we're very lucky, with his lovely family, a wife and 5 kids. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Abdullah.
And entrepreneurship, specifically topics which are a bit wider, but related to economic development. So, as choice, right? Yes. So the topic I was given, I think I will try my best to address it within the time frame I'm given. So I was asked to present and to discuss few things related to the topic. Employment entrepreneurship. How can, for example, how can we explore and gainful employment and career opportunities in 6 industries in Canada currently facing significant workforce shortage. So if I ask you a question related to what do you think about workforce shortage today in those who are in Edmonton, but also those who are in Calgary, big cities? What do you think? How that looks like in your cities? Right. So I just did some research to understand really how these things works. Being in the industry also, we have noticed a lot of trends. But in reality, it's very good that we base our things, our thoughts, or page to something which is related to come into data, which is realistic data. I did some research. I found out, for example, it's called Canadian Union of Employment Public Employees. They are from their research, from their report from 2024. They indicate in reality they are job shortage. But what lead to that? According to them, few things lead to that. Number one is there's high jobs that have high jobs vacancy, but also have below average wage increase. These jobs tend to be removed. So that, of course, if you're looking for a job, your skills are in that side, you might not find jobs. That is one thing. The other part they said, in some cases, because of suppression of wages and inflation of vacancies, that lead to inflate the rent. For example, some jobs, they're not paying our bills. If a job we can work, but we cannot get money out of it, what's the point? But also employers are also looking at, if I'm looking for work, if I'm looking to fill positions, it has to take me 3 months, 6 months, 1 year to feel that, or whenever I hire someone, there's a big high turnover, for sure that situation can happen. But some researchers, specifically in the employment industry, what are they arguing? They are arguing that in reality, 85% of small businesses are facing labor shortage. And according to Alberta Deloitte is one of the biggest firm, which is based in Montreal, but does a lot of work in consulting services for the government and so forth. They did their own research. According to them, 30% of companies are really in a dire need of labor, of workforce shortage. But again, the idea here, what are the main ones? So across Canada, there are in reality, six areas. So we are thinking, some of the research shows hotel and restaurants. What, as you know, we just came out from COVID. You know what was the impact of COVID? That was very, very astonishing, and then that led to people fleeing those industries. Because they saw a situation whereby there is no sustainability. So that was one, that industry is one of the top ones. The second one is healthcare. But you know, as an immigrant, most of us are immigrants, but when we come from overseas with our degrees or diploma in that industry, we tend not to get a job because we are not trained in Canada. So that job, that industry is also facing a big one. But of course, as you know, it's one of the biggest industry which is paying. That's for sure. It's very good to target that. Although we don't have those, there's a shortage. There's always a place to get in. If we have the degree, as Mr. Moses I think was saying here, we need to get we need to load this 16-pound. I love that. What he said there. When we get that knowledge, for sure, there's an opportunity to get something out of it. The other part which is really important, manufacturing. But manufacturing is also important. It pays very well. It has a lot of things around it that includes the logistics, supply chain, and so forth. But the thing which is really important in manufacturing, it's trying to get into the trade of part of it. For instance, someone who is doing, if it's warehousing, to what warehousing you should do. For example, inventory control, or job which will help us to get into that. So, but anyway, that is really in the dire need, manufacturing. The other one is construction. If you remember, I think the government, they mentioned at the beginning of, I don't know if it's 2023 or this year, 2024, because of the situation we are facing of housing crisis, they poured a lot of $1 billion in that industry. Still, we have a problem in that industry. Do you know why? For example, one of the problems we are facing in the construction industry, why do we have the labor shortage? Who can say one thing around that in the audience? Although we have this $1 billion poured in, we don't still have people to work for that work. Why? Of course, I want to talk to our community because actually it's targeting us. In some cases, the training itself, people are not everybody is trained, but also the biggest chunk of the biggest problem is because of the departure for retirement. Most of these people who have been in this industry for many years are now in the retirement phases. They are leaving, and maybe our youngsters who are here, some of them might not be interested in it. So that's crisis, that's the situation of not having that departure, not completing those gaps is one of the problems which is creating that labor shortage in the construction field. Retail trade is another one. This is the fifth one. Retail trade, all the things, also studies show them areas really where they need people, sales, but also even this stocking. If you go to some stores, if you used to find something there, but sometimes it's empty. Because those positions are not filled to compensate and to get these shelves filled the right way. In a nutshell, the last one I would say is trucking. Trucking also is in a dire need of people. That is really also looking for people. And as you know, we will come to that, what are the programs which exist for that. But according to the union, the NATROC HR Canada, which is national, not-for-profit organization governing all these trucking industries. In 2022, around 20,000 people, they had 20,000 vacancies. That's why if you remember, if you have seen, for those who like reading some information about the trend of labor in Canada, in Alberta specifically, you will see a lot of programs the government have launched. One was in before COVID, whereby they give you $10,000 to attend to get your driver's license at no cost to you. But because they wanted to grab a lot of people into that industry. Even recently they had that same program running. So in a nutshell, regarding these the jobs that are really in dire need, as I mentioned, is health, hotel and restaurant. You mentioned also healthcare industry, manufacturing, construction, and what else? Who like the fifth one and the sixth one, the one I said a few minutes ago? Construction, you mentioned that? Trucking industry, and also retail trade. But again, retail trade, doesn't pay well. People don't like to be in the industry whereby you go to work 9 to 5, at the end you have to find another job to get paid. There's a lot of things around that for these low paid job. That's why the Canadian Union of Public Employees are saying there's no labor shortage. It's only getting to feel that to pay, if there's no significant payment wages, of course we tend to suppress those positions. As a result, we are in that crisis. The second point I would like to address here, before we come to the questions, was what opportunities and support are available to assist individuals to start and grow an existing business or self-employment? So benefit, and the second question regarding that was, what are the benefits of working as a contractor? But first, let's start with what are the things which exist for people. So I know some of us have been thinking about business, but again, not bragging actually for the community. We are one of the pioneers also, because of Sudan, we need to mention her name as a pillar of action for communities in working around that to get that program running. So the support to explore, to be an individual and to assist individual to start businesses, all these resources exist to support people. Action for Communities is one. And also there are other organizations. If you look at, they call it Business Inc. Who knows first Action for Communities first? Who knows Action for Communities in Atlanta? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people knows Action for Community, where we can, that organization is here to support people to get, to start their business if they're interested. Other thing would be, as I mentioned, we have this organization funded by the 5th provincial government, Business Inc., and Mental Unlimited. These are organizations also that does as well. Other part where you can start getting your business is the Chamber of Commerce. They also give a lot of opportunities on how to navigate the system. But in reality here, these supports, most of them are at no cost to you. You can get this support and get a lot of guidance around it, either through the training to get you the knowledge you need to move on in your business. I think in Calgary, for those who are in Calgary, I think there's one they call, I forgot the name, but if you Google resources to start my business in Canada, in the location where I am, you can find that very easily if you mention your location. If you say Edmonton, you can find it. If you say Calgary, you can find it. But in a nutshell, resources exist to learn how to do business. Those resources are easy to find in any city you are today, specifically in those big cities. If you move now but again, there are also the financial institutions. They are thinking now of really helping people who are interested in doing business. For example, if you take Fisherpreneur, youngsters until 35, I think, you can, or 30 years old, you can get some support in addition to the money. Before they give you the money, they can support you to understand how to navigate that business, and so you will be successful. BDC they have a lot of resources on helping people as well. Now, if we talk about the second question, how can the question was the benefit of working as a contractor. That's a lot of things are around that. We think about flexibility. The flexibility we have really to not work 9 to 5 or to go to vacation when we need. So there are a lot of benefits around that flexibility of what we do. We work when we need, when we have time, and when we have time for our family, we have time for ourselves. But of course, there's a lot of things around it. We need to also be adaptable. Adaptability is really important to really, I would say, in terms of the business you are doing, the adaptability there would be a lot related to what time you can put in, and then what if clientele also you'll be looking for. So you can also start looking at tough businesses you want, whereby your interest fits your abilities. That will help you to move forward. But another part which is also important is advantage related to taxes. Why are we the benefit of doing your own business? So there are some scholars in entrepreneurship, they say that someone who works 9 to 5 pays around five different taxes, while someone who is working as a business, that is something else different. That's why you will see people are agreeing, okay, this person is rich, but doesn't pay taxes. Because there are some advantages related to taxes which will help. Because it's related to a business, you pay taxes which are not that really a big pressure on you. As a business, you can offset a lot of these taxes related to that. Another part which is important, if you look at another advantage would be the personal development. I'm thinking here, as you might know, the government is thinking of climate change. So developing yourself around those, what they call value-adding businesses, will be also important. So that includes clean energy, developing that, repurposing yourself in being in those areas which will help people to get meaningful jobs, and that is which is also adapted to the reality of the environment. For example, AI is booming. Those who are in IT, these are the type of industry which are really important today. So those who are thinking of doing clean technologies, those who are thinking of climate change, for example, how to convert waste to energy, for example, and so forth. All these things are advantages, but you can get even sometimes grants. So we are running business program. People ask us, can I get money? Yes, you can get money, but if you have a business which will solve a bigger problem and can grow very fast. So these type of industries are really industries we need to start looking at. They call it value-adding businesses, which will create a lot of jobs if you do it. And also it will help you as a business owner to get some money from the government, because they are working asked to address in terms of objectives. Now, I don't know if you are coming to the next one, which is related to the questions.
For my presentation, my name is Charles Karab. I come from Vancouver. And talking about business. And I want the leaders of ESSCA here also to hear this. I personally think one of the areas where we need to grow, we need to get rid of the poverty that we're in, is to establish a business. And if I look at the numbers here, I believe that this is the goal. So, given your expertise, what do you advise as the leadership? Because if all of us here, individually will not be able to prosper or to make business that will be running smoothly. But if we come in a big number, then the bargain is divided among all these individuals who come together, and it makes more easy. And then at the end of the day, if we have something properly established, we can have dividends will be given to the shareholders at the end. So ESSCA should hear this, and what do you advise the members, the office of ESSCA, given our number here? Thank you.
Is that correct? Yeah, that's a very good question. At the same time, tough question. Because there is a say in business, it's like employability also. Business requires 3 things. You need to have that 3D solved. The first one is you need to have the passion for it. You need to have the ability for it. It's like you have this here. You have to have the passion. You have to have the interest, the ability to do it, and then also you have to benefit. It has to produce. It has to solve a need or solve a problem. So now, what you said, having a business in group, there are pros and cons on that. In group, unless you all think that when we do this, so can we solve this situation? Because who will be doing it? You need to have a lot of questions there. Who is capable of doing this? Because again, we are solving these 3 problems, these 3D. The interest, well, the knowledge to do it, and then solving a problem. So that these 3D questions is answered, can everybody in that same group respond to all these things? That's the first one you need to solve. Otherwise, what will happen? You will form a group, you start a business, down the road, it might not work. Because what your passion of things might not be the same as mine, and so forth. Your interest, your abilities of doing things, of course, that would be helpful in terms of the team. If I don't have the skills, you have the skills. We are in a group, it works. So at that level, the other part is the problem you are solving. When you're solving a problem, you have to see the market for it. When you are thinking of doing that, are you thinking for the community to solve a problem, for the community solving a problem of business? Whereby who is the customer? It is everybody, or it is someone else outside the community? That is another question you need to solve. When these things are solved, then you have to do a lot of things around that. Who do you have the team for it? Who will be the person who will be running the show? Who will be that person? So, what service, when we deliver the services, who will be paid, who will be not paid? For example, if you are running a business, don't expect also money within the first 2 years. That's a failure people get, why people get into business and they get into failure, because they're thinking, okay, I'm running a business, I need to start getting money right away. Sometimes it may not work. It's a learning process around it, failure, and then correcting that, and then you grow. So there's a lot of components into that. That's why in some cases, in partnership, it's in some theory, in entrepreneurship, it's not very good to get more than 2 or 3 people. More than 2 or 3 people, because the advantage of, if I'm sick, you can run the show. That is compared to when we are not aligned in responding to these 3D, my interests, my abilities, and then the client, the problem I'm trying to solve, are not met. For the 3 of us also, there's always a chaos. Unless we have a very strong binding document explaining where we are doing it and how we will do it and who will be responsible for what. So there's a lot of things you need to think around that. But of course, there's always opportunity to start thinking, maybe, okay, in Canada, okay, what can we do? And then identify those customers. Sometimes if it's really related to the community-only customers, make sure that they cannot find the products, if you are selling a product, from outside someone else or from your home country to bring it here. But those are thinking of import-export. If I'm doing an import-export business, I'm thinking to bring clothes. If I'm too expensive, to be honest, most likely most of the clients I'm targeting might bring, when they go for vacation, or they can sell someone, bring this to me. So there's a lot of complication on that, but there's still opportunity to work, to run a business together. Mostly who are being very good in that, Indian. They do what they call franchise. They can call maybe 5, 10, 15 people will bring money. But they will be identified 2, 3, 4 people who can respect these 3D. They have the interest, they have the know-how, and they are trying to solve the problem. But the customer side, they don't want to rely only on their community. That's why you go into many Dolorama today, they are Indian. You go to many restaurants today or those franchising things, you find a lot of Indian, and then they hire who? Their community members. So in that case, it works. Or if you're trying to solve a problem back home, let's say for example, there is no electric, the system there is not working very well. I have a lot of IT people who can help to develop this infrastructure in my home country. You find one person who is very good in doing that partnership, B to G, business to government, who is very good in lobbying. We put that person forth, he goes there, he seals deals, he brings us other people who can be doing the coding, they sit down and do the coding. We all get benefit from this. This is another way. And then who are good in that also, a lot of communities. I don't know if I've answered your question, sir, but these are the things which I'm thinking in that regard to your question.
This talk of resources. I mean, we have talented people, and like our young girls here, and I personally believe that when you want to finance, it becomes a big fight. So the reason why I was talking about this large community here, or this group of people here, the idea was if some of us begin injecting some little capital into something viable that worked on, we could hire the expert, or we could use some of the members within the community. And the thing is, I'm targeting like, can this work to solve some of our problems? You know, that was, but anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah. I think you brought a very good point. And you know, which community is also good in that? Lebanese, or Chinese, or Filipino. I hear that is a town. Please don't put me on that. I was exploring some successful communities here because we are the same partner. My community are the same. We were exploring the same thing. So I approached one person who is a little bit familiar with the Filipino community. I asked him, okay, how do you do business here? The Chinese, they don't disclose, to be honest. They are very close. So one thing I heard when I was investigating is they have, upon the they call their association, there are small associations in each cities, but the biggest one is in Ontario, I don't know if it's Toronto. So every month, everybody give $5. You give $5, it's mandatory. You, me, everybody will give $5 to the Filipino community in Edmonton. That money is being brought to Ontario. What will happen? If you and me, we have very good skills in something very specific, or we want to buy houses, so we approach that. The headquarters in Toronto, they give us the money we need, which sometimes without interest, but they give us a timeline. They propose, they give us that money, we move on. When we are able to do it, within maybe 2 years, so we give that money back, that money is recycled, but still we don't stop giving them $5 every month. You give $5 and give $5, everybody asks, and when they give $5 to our chapter here, and then that's the way. Lebanese are very good at that. In all Africa, that's the way they do it. So there's a lot of, Cameroon has started it too, in Montreal. Today, Cameroon, they rarely go to bank with high finance. If you are looking at a business or having a house, they have what they call tontine. I don't know how susu in African languages. Huh? But there are some consequences of that, we don't want to go into that crowd. But they come in together to that. Everybody give their money. So whenever someone is investing in a business or in a house, we take that money, we give it to him or her. The person start a business or give as a down payment for the house. And when the person is very solvable, that money is now collected, put back to the basket. Who asks, or which community, how many people other people are interested in going. So for sure, that will be our best bet. That's Suzu has started how many years ago? Over 1 million, a million years in Africa. But who are good in exporting Chinese, Lebanese, and so forth. I think that is a good approach we need to have here, and you really need, again, they are very well organized. The best part also, they are very well organized. If you look at, they're trying to solve, they have a mandate. As what I was saying here, anything we do, we need to look at the vision, mission, anything if it's not for profit. In business, we think about the vision, the mission, and how we can get to the goals. When we set all these things, we know, for example, we will be funding. This funding, for example, we say, instance, we would like to fund communities who can come together to have a convenience store of our local food rather than going to TNT. Chinese are very good in that. You will never see Chinese buying somewhere else. They always go to TNT because they all come together to do these things because they had that defined very well. And then these people were given to open the TNT 1997 on this road, north side and east side. So everybody who are in the north will go to there and then they go to support. So that mentality also, yes, it's something in that level when we get organized. What's the topic? I hear it feel like, we finish with all these tribe things and this community, and we all come to support those people. So that will be an option to get people together, and the advantage of it will be behind your people, hire those people, or hire your youngsters who will get some experience so that they have a resume, something on the resume to move on. If that answers your question, sir. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to highlight to what you mentioned about the Lebanese. First of all, I want to say thank you to Susanna Dumo, the Director for Action for Healthy Community. I was one of the vendors this past weekend. Oh. So behind my business booth, there was a Lebanese guy, and his table was full of people non-stop. So the first day I had maybe 3 sales. The second day, maybe about 5, 10. And I had to ask him, what's the secret? So what this guy told me was very touching from the African point of view. He said they do a sign up for all the events throughout the year. So each event, like K-Days, this weekend they're doing the heritage, he was actually asking me for a table. He said, I like your smile, maybe you should come. And I'm like, no, I have things to do. So the main thing he said is this. People within Canada, the Lebanese will do something like Sunduk. They put the money initially to start the project, then they buy a container full of the things that are needed in the backcountry. So the container cost is maybe from 10 to 13,000. And from the sale this man made from KA, he said last year he made over 20,000. So now from home, the one they also have like necklaces, perfume, those are unique things for Canada here. And the table was full. He had to get people to help him with sale on Saturday. So that you can see the traffic. He's sending back home, and the people back home are sending it back here. And so it's a community-based organized program where they will have people who are in charge of the container going home, and the people who are also into shipping all the things that are needed for those programs. So, do you mean, let's wake up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for remarkable explanation, which is very touching. Coming to business, I think most of us, Africans, we have problems in business simply because we are not business oriented by nature. Indians are the Arabs, from their grandparents, they business-oriented people. Like in Lebanon, if you ever own a shop, you prepare to get that shop when your father dies. And when you go to school, after school, you go to shop, you go and sell that shop. You know your wife, some suppliers are. You also get one of the make orders for their businesses. So as they grow, they expand businesses. And when they travel outside, they own restaurants, businesses in all Africa. Where could have that background? The same Indians. So we as Africans, we need to have opportunities of people like that because we need not have an idea. At least this, for example, is something very touching. I believe that the Jewish people. The what? Jewish. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jewish, they have what they call Jewish membership community. They're having Toronto. Each member pays $100. And they sit together from time to time to discuss about business ventures, business innovation, business plans. And if any of them wants to build a business, he or she is given money because they have money. Right. You set a business, once your business materializes, you divide their money. And given the business, each business as well as pay must be also a Jew. The supplier must be a Jew. They might have certain amount of their community. We want to order from a non-PEBTN Jewish business owners have those products. And that's why they have to control America, economically, because they have that unity. So because anyway, not here America because we are not African, we are not business-related people. But you have to sometimes time to better the responsibility. For instance, when you look at the there are no medicines to do in Canada. But now, anywhere you go, when the US, Canada, every province you go, when they look into Sudanese people, whereby if we have shops, just say this local food, bamia, dogwa, and then you always want to production from brothers and business. And you would as well progress. If this is about your capital, okay, contribute, so do. Especially ladies are very good in that. You have to be able to open the shop and have this inner. Because that is not how to make this inner. They come and buy. And you make business. Your business is having that use, but how to start it, how to go out with it, is an issue. Could maybe the capital, but you could still get some money if you put it some together. Or you could make a woman, 5 women would get your hands together. Maybe just not open the business, trade it. And let's see how it goes. You can sell malawaita, you can sell combo, traditional food, dry fish, all this stuff. You can buy over the shop. Any other shop. That you can make money. Open a salon. Anything. Yeah.
For example, some will come. What I noticed running the entrepreneurship program, if I look at our clientele, I would say we have 30% black, maximum vary between 10 to 15. But even if African people live in, sorry, I'm not trying to stereotype, but I just want to give you a fact of what I've seen. This is a lived experience. What you said with regard to gaining the knowledge, so that is really critical. So beside not having that acumen of doing business, but mostly our highly educated people, because we are forwarded down, by the way, most of us having grown in Africa. So we go to university, look for job, and look for job where government, sometimes, in most cases, that is the thing which has slowed us down in our process. That's why in the home countries, if you look at most rich people, millionaires or billionaires in our local currency in US or US dollar, is those who haven't even done a grade 6. schooling. So which is really bad. That's why if you look at most of the cases, people will say, oh, this person educated is not successful. That's why I think even that is one of the stereotypes we're talking about. Now coming to that education piece. So we came to a country whereby everything you do, you need to plan. So we like to jump into doing business without having any planning. I would like to have my business ideas this. I just want to jump and do that business idea. The bottom, at the end, the person, you will look at 80% are failures. Because anything you don't plan in this country, if that's the way you have seen it in our own countries, if you don't plan it here, you fail at two levels. Number one, the failure of not planning. Number two, the failure of not having the right information or critical information to make you do what you're going to share. Okay, what are the risks in your business? What are the risks in your business? How much should I sell? For example, what the sister said a few minutes ago. I've seen in some cases with this ticket, which is very small. These are most of our entrepreneurs who are not willing and that background of black and Caribbean, I've seen. They don't do the planning, as a result, they don't even know how much they should sell. So what will happen in some cases, you come, how much you want to pay? Say, what we do back home? We look at the person's face, we give the price. It won't work here. Because you have spent maybe 20 hours or 2 days to do that food or to do that handcraft. And then I'm coming to sell that handcraft. I did not take any consideration of how much I have invested in my time, how much I have invested in whatever, including for that production. So now I'm trying to sell. What is the result? When I asked them, how was the thing? Oh, it was, I lost. I said, how come we lost? Because I spent this, but I just get this. Because I do not get good sale. Okay, what was the price? Some cases, $1. I said, if you went to pay for $1, you will value your opinion. No, you failed. Because you did not attend the training whereby you would have a free consultant to pay to help you do that financial forecasting to understand how much you should sell that device or that product craft or that plate of food. That's why you failed. You said you lost. If you had thought, risk management, as we said, anything which is doing without planning or done without education, it's a failure because they do not even assess risk. What if I don't get the number of clients I have? That would trigger, I need to increase my price. If I get 10 people, at least I got maybe before, rather than losing 80%, maybe I would lose only 50%. Because if I had sold without $10 to the 10 people, maybe that would help me to solve that gap. So I agree with you with regard to the planning. We need also that to come to the brotherhood. We always, whoever would like to go in business with you is not even to plan, to do the business planning, say thank you, bye-bye. I need to move on with someone who is willing to do, because I'm in Canada, not in South Sudan or somewhere in my country, there in Guinea. I'm sitting, I just have the money to start. I just open my kiosk or whatever my business, I open the door and I start the business. No. Here you need to do everything, understand, even the minimum thing, the risk, what are the risks, what are the plans? If you don't have a plan, you don't know how to navigate. The plan is a map for you to navigate. That's why everybody here is one. Wherever you go, you don't look at, go up to that man and ask, they will guide you. Because you have a map. Google Map will tell you there because everything is planned ahead. It's the same thing, I think that's a very good way to go. Someone else? Question? Yes, please.
All right, we're just going to give a chance for this one question, then we move to the next part of the presentation.
As we hear about business, let me say that the business, to run business in this country, you have to have business of the family, not all the people. Because that way your business cannot fault if you have family. This is the things. But if you say, oh, I want to run business by yourself, you cannot succeed. You can do it, but sometimes it cannot go well. As I run daycare here in Canada with my family, but it was going well. This is the things, just I want to say, it's simple things, you can do it. But like Indians, they have unity. They have unity, they come together. But as we are Africans, sometimes we fail. This is the things. If we, because sometimes we don't love each other, this is the things. But it is well, as you explain, it is well you can do it. Business is not that you want, you need persons to be, or you need grouping. Sometimes it's hard to group because you don't know who is who. We are all different. Thank you. God bless you.
Giving us all that knowledge. Now it's up to us to implement it. You know, and I think we have some roadmaps or starting point where, you know, for those of us who are in Edmonton, we do have Susanna here that we can call up and say, hey, is there any program that you guys have that can help me here? And if she's not able to, if you guys don't have it, I'm sure she will direct you someone. I think it is really, really good that we are honored to have you to give us that information. And so for the next session,
there is a lot of grants nowadays for Black businesses, and we should be thinking about those things and take advantage of that. When my sister here, Flighty, was talking about KD, is actually a big festival in Edmonton that's a week long, and Abdullah manages our program that basically brings people to the marketplace at the KD. So people with businesses, look for those opportunities in your cities. We have a lot of festivals in different cities where we come from in Canada. There's a lot of opportunities. Please go and find out about that. Abdullah mentioned Chamber of Commerce. This is a very good resource that can help you know what resources are available for you in the city and how can you participate as a vendor. I wanna challenge my Hungarian friends and family. Stampede. How many South Sudanese have participated in the Stampede vendor market? That's like a ton of customers there. So let's think about those things. Let's look for the information in our cities and find out how we can participate, even on the street markets. Farmers markets. These are very small markets, but you begin from there. So I just wanted to add this, and so yeah, thank you.
And just also to add a lot, yeah, so the other part also, for those who are in the tech industry, one thing now the government is thinking is really to promote what they call equity deserving in the procurement. So that is a very big component. Those who are thinking of trade, because now, for example, I think a few weeks ago, and so one of the things they said is equity deserving Black community, Black, Indigenous, and of course something like that. You now can beat many of these procurement, the government procurement, for any type of thing. Trade, like for example, doing, renovating a camp, military camp. That thing what I saw 2 weeks ago was that. They were looking for painters, landscaping, and so forth. There's also an opportunity for those who are in tech or trade. For example, the city of Edmonton now, they have, and Calgary as well. Vancouver is one of the top, by the way, those who are from Vancouver. Vancouver, they have what they call social procurement. Look at those opportunities for those who are thinking of businesses. Register your business, and then if you have skills, by the way, those who are in apprentice, for example, thinking of moving to have their own businesses. So these are the opportunities. You can even set a business and apply for those procurement. It's called social procurement, whereby they impose big companies to hire Black, Indigenous, and people of color's business to be contract delivering people. So it's like they hire big company A, who will be now hiring small companies down here, contractors, but by bulk, which will help to complete that project. So that's what the thing I wanted to add. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, for inviting me for this event.
I think if there is one note that you need to write down is, even for those who are living in Calgary, you know, K-Days and Stampede is not only limited to people in Calgary or to people in Edmonton. I think there can be a crossover. So if you have a business and you have time, you can go to the other event and all that. I'm not 100% sure about that, but the note that I would like you to take down is Susanna Dumont. She will help you with that. For the next session, I'm going to call Christine, Zoe, and Rose Lovire. So if you two can come up, that would be really great. These are the two ladies who actually started a business. They took that initiative to start a business and they planned it out. And we're going to hear from them, their experience and how they started their businesses and the challenges that they experienced and how they overcame those challenges for them to be where they are today. So we have, you guys met Rose already this morning, one of our youth. Who knew that she had a business? None of us. Well, maybe one, right? So here she is again, coming to talk to us about businesses, right? And we have Christine Zoe. Christine Zoe lives in Calgary, and she's a mother of 3 beautiful daughters. She is a registered nurse and a founder of Truly Home Care Services, serving seniors mainly in Calgary and rural areas. And Truly Home Care is dedicated. It's a dedicated service providing service provider with a goal to provide superb home care services. This is a home care service that she provides to people, to seniors and people in their home, for them to be comfortable in their own home. And we are going to ask both ladies to share with us their experience, how they started it, and what motivated you guys to start the business, and what are some of the challenges. I'm just throwing up a lot of questions, but I'm just going to go one by one. Maybe you guys can start answering what motivated you guys to start the business.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very honored to be here. I had a lot, and our brother Tim Berry, he had shared a lot about the thing that kind of stopped us from succeeding. And when I came 15 years ago, I was like, okay, so a nursing assistant, others don't understand. So then I realized, okay, no way, I need to climb up. So after having kids and going to school at the same time, I became a licensed practical nurse. And then I worked in a long-term care for over 10 years. I started as a young, I'm not that old, okay? And when COVID hit, I realized I'm always someone who's very compassionate, and I always get attachment so much with the seniors, and that's where my heart is. And I knew that God has called me to serve the senior community. So when COVID started, I had 2 old ladies that were kind of in a long-term care, and I was always the regular nurse. And I remember one was crying, her name was Catherine. She cried, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go. And I remember this lady when it kept going down, like she refused to eat, she refused to do anything because she wants to go home. She couldn't see her parents, her children, she couldn't see her family members at all until she died. So I was the one of the nurses who worked through COVID, and I realized, no way, home is everything. Because I had spent months and months sharing about the importance of staying home with this woman, and she told me everything. Sometimes they're very open with nurses who are very close to them than their family members. So that became a burden in me to actually start a business. I was like, I need to target home care to help seniors in their own home. But then during that time, in 2020, COVID was coming, it's really, was like in Calgary, people are dying in Canada. And we say, okay, I like Calgary. But in Canada, so people are dying and things were really hard. I had a vision because it was in me, but then I had a vision too. So then I started, but I didn't know who to contact. I called around and I'm like, how do you start home care? Nobody want to help me. I called around and they're so secretive, they don't want to help people. But today I wanted to share with you guys that I'm going to give you some 10 points of how to start your own home care freely and openly. You're going to go to research, but you won't get a real direction or really how to start it. You're going to call people, they're like, oh, I don't know. They'll give you the surface, but they don't give you the deep. But the thing I realized is, first of all, you have to have the desire and love to do something. And that was me. I love to do it, to take care of seniors in their own home, and I really had a desire to start home care. So when I started a plan that I'm going to start home care, I told my husband, but I knew he's not even he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know I have plans. But I'm someone who, when I have plans, I normally take a step. And all of us have something inside. We have ideas inside, but we don't know how to project the ideas in action. That is what is holding us back as South Sudanese. So that's something so that time I knew, I'm like, I am black. Some people were fighting me, like, you're black, you have an accent, who is going to believe in you? And I didn't care. So I started. So the challenges that I had, this is real-time challenges. Because I was focused in taking care of seniors in their own home, I remember having, the first client was East Indian. Very rude lady. Very, very rude. I remember when I took care of her for 8 months, but those 8 months were horrible. But I had a plan of what I have to do with my business. I really had a focus that I need to continue until I become successful. And this lady was so abusive. I remember she was calling me black devil nurse, And I kept going, but she didn't know I had a plan. And she was paying $30 per hour. I didn't care. I was the LPN, you're supposed to get 27, but I didn't care. I was saving that money. So when you're starting this home care business, you really don't need money to start it. You can start from scratch. You don't need money. This is how I did it. So this is something that I never share, but I can share with you guys quickly. So what I did was I saved that small money that I had from this very mean lady. I used to see her twice a week, and can you believe I can work in the hospital, get good pay, but I was like, I wanted to get something out of this. So I would see her twice a week, 12 hours per day. I would put that money in my saving. Okay, I didn't have a business bank, but I was saving that money. Every week I was getting $60 and I was saving. My husband is good at money, so I would save that money without touching. And I kept going for 8 months. Now, that same money that I had been saving in this abusive lady, after 8 months I knew I had enough to now start my own website. Yes, that's how it started. So that's how I was able to have the same money. So I wasn't using the same money that I was working with other home care or hospital or anything. The business has to take care of itself. If you start getting money from your own pocket to start a business, it's not a business. The business has to support itself. So because I had that, I had saved enough, not really a lot. It was not even less than $2,000. But anyway, I was able to start a home care, a website, and then I opened up. But when I started the website, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a lot of clients, nothing. You really have to be vulnerable and humble. I could take clients in who are paying $20, but I knew that one day this is going to pay off. Then I continue going like that. And when I could get one client, then thank God opened up, and I had one client who was quite well off, and she was paying me quite enough money to be able to hire one healthcare aide. So when I was going with that when I had that client, I was able to allocate that healthcare aide now to that client and leave, and then go ahead and keep looking like that. And it's not easy at all. Starting a business, you need patience. You're not gonna be rich overnight. It needs patience. You also you don't have to be ashamed. You have to believe in yourself that you can do anything. And truly home care is now 3 years and a half. Actually, truly home care was named after my oldest daughter. Truly, I had a vision that this is a true gift from God. I'm a Christian. So this is a true gift from God and God is going to bless it. And I feel like trusting God and putting Him first in what I wanted to do really helped me so much. So truly home care has expanded so much. We do have over 18 caregivers who are, most of them are full-time. We are still hiring every time clients all over in rural area, Calgary, and everything. And it's been, I realized you guys were talking about like community to work together. It's good. So the way how I bring the community together is because I have a lot of ladies from our own community, even from South Sudan, that are working with me, which is great. But sometimes getting family members, the only family that I know that can help me is my husband, not my sisters. We don't have the same idea. So you have to really analyze carefully because you might have friends, but they can pull you down. You might have family, but they can pull you down because they have different ideas. Not everyone is the same. I think if you have something burning inside you and you wanted to start, don't be ashamed. Don't care about how you look. Don't underestimate who you are. If you see me like just black lady from South Sudan, whatever, I can see with a very rich, well-off white man. Just be confident and like raise your voice there with your, the accent, doesn't matter. But if you give them that care and you give them all in all, tomorrow they're gonna say, so and so gave me good care. And so then continue like that. And I think that's a success under truly home care. That's a unique focus. So sorry if I took too long. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's really Thank you so much for that and for giving us that information. I know a lot of ladies here probably took a lot of notes and and I'm 100% sure somebody will approach you and talk to you privately.
Thank you. I'll be here to help for sure.
Hi everyone, it's me Rose Lakiru again. Hope everyone is doing well. So first question I want to point out is who likes to make money? All of us, right? Who wants all that money to be put back into their own pocket? Right? It's through business. When you're working for an employer, whether it's the government, like federal government like I did, or whether it's for any other nursing company like Each Care, I think those are some big ones, you are giving money to the person who owns it, and they're paying you peanuts is what happens, right? It's not, sometimes it may not even be a living wage. With business, you're able to work hard and get paid the money that you work for. So the harder you work, the more money you make. So I have went to school, I did a degree in sociology. My parents, of course, were so happy that I graduated and were proud of me for doing so, but I graduated and I got a job that didn't even pay me as much as what my student loan was. So the student loans that I took out for my degree was way more than my annual income working for an employer. And I thought, is this life? I picked up a second job, as most people have, and I was just working all the time, full-time, part-time job. And I was like, this is not life. I'm young, but I'm working all the time. I'm not traveling or spending time with friends and family at this young age. Until I met some family members of my husband, actually, from the Nigerian community. They're all very entrepreneurial. They all have businesses. And that really inspired me to start this real estate business. And through this real estate business, I found that I'm able to serve people, like it was my passion to serve people, and I'm able to share knowledge that some people don't have, and also connect with other wealthy and like-minded business people. The story is that it's important to, yes, have maybe stability and security with a full-time job, but a business is so important because it can open so many doors for you and connect you to so many different people who can give you tips on maybe how to save money on your taxes, or maybe how to grow your income, or how to gain more assets and build more money from your business through other means, maybe investing in real estate or investing in stocks. And it all happened to me because I reached out to people. I saw that people had businesses. I reached out to them. I asked questions. I was curious. I let my ego down, even if I had a degree and I thought that I had to put aside that I'm not better than anyone. I'm still learning, and I'm going to continue to learn forever so that I can continue to grow. So I think that's really important for everyone to shift their mindset that even if you get a degree, even if you go to school, or even if you're a manager in a company, there's always room to learn and keep growing. It's never enough for all of us. And once you make more money, once you grow a business and have other people working for you, like what Christine here said, where she has a team of people working for her, she now has more time to be with her family, to talk about culture, to be at events like this, because she grew a business that's running while she's not even working. And it's possible for each and every one of us to do. That's it for me, so thank you.
I think one thing that I've been hearing a lot here is the ego and be humble. You know, and I think that is something sometimes, I don't know if you guys remember when I say that little voice behind your back that gives you that negative advice you cannot do. You know, those are the things that you have to put aside. You know, if you really want to succeed and you know your vision and you know where you want to go. My question to you too, what would you say are the two difficult challenges to overcome when starting a business? Very difficult, but it's doable that you can overcome. Because I think those are the things that some of the people or some ladies sometimes they when they start the process and then they get that stumble block, they just like, okay, this is where I'm gonna end it. You know, what would you guys say would have been the two difficult?
Two things that was a bit difficult at the start of starting a business was one, mindset. Like I said, a lot of us may not have an entrepreneurial background. We're not business thinkers, but it was really just pushing myself and connecting with people who were business-minded to really change my mindset of I'd rather spend time on my business than working 9 to 5 p.m. for someone else. The amount of work I was putting for someone else, I should be putting even more for myself. Even if I had doubts, if I wasn't good enough, or maybe I was too young, or I was too new in the industry, I just kept pushing forward, and each and every one of us can do so by just shifting our mindset and thinking that if you work hard now, it will get easier later. And then the second thing is that the disappointment, I would say, like there has been a few people, maybe they didn't know, who haven't supported my business. So I do help people buy and sell properties, but I have seen a few Sudanese members who, follow me on my social media, but then I see them buy and sell with other people. It's also seeing that and keep going after, like, knowing that the people that know me choose not to work with me, and that's okay, because some of the strangers that I've met have been the best clients of mine so far. So it's really important that value the people you know here in this room, in the community, but also the people that you meet at Superstore or at the gas station, because they can change your business exponentially.
Thank you. Yeah, I would just say two important things just based on the home care business is it's not really with me, but I'll just say most important thing that they cannot do it and they don't have the qualification. And the thing at home, to start at home care, you have to be a nurse. Not really. There is something called a non-nursing services that someone can provide if you're healthcare aide or anyone who don't have nursing background. So the thing is, most people don't really have that resources to really start. And the other thing that I realize is that most people they're like, how will I get clients? And then they will start a business, they will register a business, but then they don't have clients. Then I'm like, okay, I can't do this because they are not clients. And I feel like even though you don't have enough clients, just start small. Like go to the mall. There are very many seniors who are in the mall shopping. Like, oh, I love your dress, it's so pretty. And then you start the conversation, open up. Oh my God, I love your hair. oh, by the way, can you take my card if you have your card? Oh, I actually have a small home care. Just start like that. And if you really need help, then you can be able to call me. Yeah, that's it. And then the major thing is, I feel like they feel like, for me, it's having no reliable caregivers or healthcare aides or nurses to work for you. I had lots of disappointment. Unfortunately, it's kind of a shame to say, it's with my own South Sudanese. So I have found many of them, many of the ladies who always call off. That is like late notice. And I realized the most hardworking people like who are not in South Sudanese, Cameroon, South Africa, Filipinos, and other things, they are very committed, you know. And then, you know, you found out most of us, this is based on experience, okay? I had hired some people who, like, they were like, it's too far, and the job pays a lot of money. And then you're like, it's too far, you are not interested. But the thing is, anyone who comes to work with me, they normally, I will make sure that they have their own business at the end, or have some skills to start their own, because my plan is to empower each and every most of the women to have their own business. That's it.
Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
I have a few questions, but I'm just gonna give the opportunity to the audience to ask questions. I'm sure everybody, you guys might have some questions that you might want to ask the two ladies here. Thank you, Vicky. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand and we can go past. Empower our own people to be reliable. Like, it's probably a personal thing, and you know, not to be reliable, to support the businesses that, you know, within our own community. You know, like if you, for example, you say, they say it's too far, they're unreliable and all that, then you gotta hire somebody else where the business could have benefited most of us here, right? So what do you think would be helpful, that an advice that you think will be helpful for our own community here, that, you know, it is really important for us to support? And it's not that you're doing it for yourself as well. By employing them, you're also providing them the job, right? And that's something that probably they could be working somewhere else. And, you know, so is there any advice you can give us?
I feel like open communication. So how I ended that issue is I created a group that include all my, I don't want to say workers, okay, contractors, okay, and so we were like open. I started sitting down to understand their personal struggles, and I realized most of them who say it's far, always I have this calling off tomorrow, is because they are stressed and they can kind of carry that stress to project. So I sit down to listen. I'm like, if you're struggling even to pay the bills, we can normally help you even get, like, you know, payment earlier and be able to pay your bills, and we are here to help you here as a team. And if you feel like you don't feel like you want to work, let me know early. And the people who don't want to work, there are so many. So like, I think communication really helped break that barrier.
Just to piggyback off what she said, communication is one, and I think it also it's solely on us as well as business owners to reach out to all of you as well. We can't expect you guys to know what our business is, what it's about, or how we run it unless we take that initiative to share that with you. And I think I missed to talk a little bit about myself. I am only 25, but I do own 3 properties. I own rental properties. I do Airbnb. And I would love to share that with all of you, because if I could do it at my young age with student loans, with menial jobs, like, I don't make as much as people who have been in this industry for many years, right? But I made it work because I tried to have that growth mindset. I tried to limit that consumer mindset of going traveling, spending money on Netflix or eating out. I really tried to limit my means and invest in my future, in my family's future. So I think one is communication on our part, to share with you guys how we did it and help you to do it, and that's why I'm in this business. So if you want to learn more about anything real estate, please come see me. Do not be a tenant and keep renting for many years, because you're just putting money into someone else's pocket, right?
You know, just looking at the two of you speaking about the growth, and I think we as women and we as Equatorian women need to be proud because we already have people who have paved the way, if I can say. You know, you guys have paved the way, so I think for a lot of us, it's kind of awakening, you know, and sometimes we need that epiphany to come from a sister that will speak of their journey and get us to start to think. And I think you mentioned, both of you mentioned clearly that we as Sudanese, we have that in us, and sometimes we need that push. And sometimes it's the fear that keeps a lot of us behind, but you guys have done it, and you two are inspirational. And I think a lot of us would like to have your business card if we're not going to run a business, but you know, get an idea of even though we're going to buy or you know, do something with that knowledge. At the end of the day, knowledge is power. So kudos to both of you.
All right. I have a question and I have a challenge for us. So the question goes to both of you. And I think Rosie mentioned something really, really important, which is that it's a two-way process. It's imperative on you as a business owner to let us know that you have a business so that we can support. And so my question to both of you, what would you think would be the best way to let us as a community know about your business? Because even the way I got in contact with the both of you, and she's my sister-in-law, I didn't even know that she had that business. And so there is definitely a need for us to know more about this business. And maybe before I give you the opportunity to answer the question, the challenge I want to challenge all of us is, there was a story that I read many, many years ago, that in the Jewish community, the dollar in the Jewish community will go around 10 times in the hands of Jewish before it leaves the community. Our challenge is for supporting our own. We have a tendency of not being supportive of our own, because if I go and spend $100 in a store outside of my community, whereas I can spend that $100 with or for somebody who is in my community, the success of that person is the success of all of us. So the challenge, think about how your $100 that you put out there, prioritize it first to go to a community member, and let's keep doing that, keep having that mentality, and support people who are, starting a business so that they can be successful and they can pave the way for us to also be successful. Please, thank you.
Could you repeat the question?
So the question is, how do you think you could let the community know that you exist or your business exists, so that the community can can support you in your endeavors?
I'll go very quickly. As a young person, I utilize social media a lot, but I do realize that may not connect with some of you, because maybe some of you aren't as active on Facebook or Instagram. So if it means understanding that there are some people who prefer to have a phone call or meeting at their house, I'm happy to do that. But that also takes my initiative to reach out and see what is your preferred method of communication. Because as a business owner, you're serving other people and you need to serve them how they want to be served. So if they want you to come over to their house and have chai and talk about everything, then I'm happy to do that, and I'm sure Christine Zue is happy to do that as well.
Yeah, I think coming out to this community really helps. I actually started being more open last year in Winnipeg. I think ESSCA, I shared a little bit about truly home care, because I really wanted to empower, and I'm so ready to help many women out here to really honestly start and know the secret, my downfall and the uprise, because I'm still growing and I'm still learning. So please contact me, go on website, Truly Home Care Services, that's my cell phone, that's my direct cell phone, and I'll be able to walk you. And there are many who have contacted me, and some of the women already started their own deals. So coming like that, sharing, being open, and she's vocal, like she's in Facebook, and you can find her, she's always like, showing the houses and all that. And I always advise, I'm trying to employ someone, there's this vacancy, and all these are like open out there. And it looks like Emito doesn't know a lot about Truly Home Care, but Calgary do, but they don't know that I am the one who started it. But I think some of us do, and I think my husband has a lot of friends, and they know. Yeah.
I just want to add, I think Uncle up here mentioned about having a mentorship program. I think that is very important to have. Maybe it's specific to each industry, or something even like investing, or even if it's like hobbies, like reading a book, having different groups that people can align themselves into with their own interests would help. And I'm happy to join a committee to learn, to teach more about investing, always through real estate, of course. But I think that would be a great initiative for ESSCA to have, is these little committees that anyone can join. Maybe it starts off as a WhatsApp group, and you meet once a month to discuss about that certain topic every month.
That's a really great suggestion. There's a question over here.
My name is Santilia from Regina. I'm a little bit tired, so we'll be talking down here, seriously. What I want to say is not a question, but I'm so impressed with all this information. I'm overwhelmed. I think this is what we need in our community. And you guys have done wonderful. And this is good information. It's really motivated us here. Everything has been shared today, school and businesses and all that stuff. It's something that I'm sure we're all going home today with something. Nobody will go empty from here. Whatever it is, you're going to work, let's say home, we're going to work on it. But then my thing is going back to ESSCA leadership, or ESSCA community. Because this kind of ideas or business could be utilized in our community, but how and where? It cannot be just at homes, as you say. Listen, you hear, you offer, you say that you're willing to come to people's house. I'm so impressed with that, because we don't do that. We don't go to people's houses. It's hard. The only thing that brings us is confusion, mutu or physical item. Other than that, it is. But this goes back to the community. We need to have active community in every city. You need to establish that place first. If you have people like this, that you want them to come, where are they going to go? You don't have an active community. In Regina, our community is dead. Now, if I have this woman to invite her to come to Regina, I'm just going to rent a hall and then come. This thing need to be, people need to work on it. We need to have an office, we need to have a place. Okay, then we invite these people, whoever have any ideas, then we have the mentorship, we have our workshop, this is how we do it. I don't know how to get to the community, but I grew up in church, and that's how, I don't know, but this is how I talk, this is how I learn, because there's a workshop, they send you to places to learn, you bring ideas with you. So I want to encourage Edmonton communities like Equatoria, Calgary, wherever you live. Go there and establish your place. Make your community work. And then when your community work, this is how people will invite them to come and do worship. And our kids will pick up from there. This young girl here, she's young. She's my daughter, And now we have to encourage them. We have to bring that influence to our kids. Then our kids are busy. When we say, okay, so this girl, they say, I'm coming, these young people will come. It's not even our work. Now this kid can do the work for themselves. Because we were raised in different places. Like, we came back home. We're not used to be push. Like this one, I have to bring her here, she doesn't want to come. I was like, no, you have to come. But in Sudan, when we were young, they don't invite us. They had the hustle is going. Nobody pushed. No, my mom never pushed me to go to places. I want to go to this, I want to go to that. But these kids now, they want to be pushed. But thank God that now we have people who established something, that been doing something. And we have people here actually. Yusuf is actually a teacher. And he's still doing this for the community. You know, this is good. So we still have people who are willing to do something. So this for us, when we go to where we're going, Mahal try to establish that community and let it run and active. Then you invite these people, even we pay a ticket, and you come to Regina. I will invite you to come to Regina. And then we call the kids to come, I mean not kids, 25 and 23, 18, they're not kids. So you can sit down with them and you can tell them, because school is not enough, but this is one of the things. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. Can I add to that? Sure. I think it was very important to say that we need a place to gather, right? We can't, it's not sustainable to keep renting out spaces, asking everyone to keep pooling in money to just gather together. It's as simple as maybe buying a small property or finding connections within a church that can allow you to meet once a month, twice a month, or twice a year without having to spend such a huge amount, especially with the cost of living and everything increasing. It's not sustainable to keep renting out spaces. There are communities in Calgary that I've seen that have bought houses, very small houses, and that's their gathering spot. And I was talking about that with some people are at the back. And I think it's really important because businesses and organizations can be anywhere. It can be in your home, it can be in a home that the organization purchases, and it's also helpful for your taxes. You can include it as an expense in your taxes as an organization, right? It's just a matter of all this money, all these years, 9 years of having ESSCA events, put it together and make a solid space where we can meet every year instead of giving money to other people.
Okay, thank you. Mine is not going to be a question, but it's a comment to all of us. I work as a financial advisor, but the thing is this. Some people from our community, they bring their own life insurance policy and ask you to explain because they don't understand it. And then you wonder whom did they meet to reach the extent of getting a policy while you don't even understand it. And the other part is somebody comes to you, you present the whole thing, but they won't purchase anything from whatever you're doing, but they will go somewhere and tell you, yeah, I got it from somewhere. Thank you for your explanation. That is okay because in business, it's either yes, yes, or no, no, life goes on. Somebody will get something. And the part that I wanted to share was about a place where we could gather. Here within the city of Edmonton, we have places like Action for Health Communities. They have a place that if there's a community, you don't pay something. You just book and get the people to eat. I tried that, not with Action, but we tried it on Zoom to do a presentation for the youth though. It was a Zoom, it was good. We had like 10 people, only 4 showed up. Because they were like, oh, I don't know what finance is about. I don't know how money works in Canada. Be curious, that is how I am. Anything is happening, I want to know more. And that's why I joined ESSCA. When I came there, I was like, okay, where are the women, where are the youth? I'm a mother, I have kids. So you go like, what can we do to make everything work for us? I live on the south side, that's where Indian community thrives. You see here there's Indian thing, then you think every day. If they can do it, we can do it. But again, it starts with our mindset. If we want to do something, we can do it. Equatorian, Sudanese, Junubin, let's wake up. 20 years has passed. I came here in my late 20s. So now, my kids have grown up and now in my late 40s, something has to happen. My kids say you're already almost reaching half a century. What did you do in Canada? Imagine. Thank you.
I have one question here, and then we just gonna wrap it up.
Thank you. What a success. I could remember the bit, especially Chichi, when you were a child, I could see the success in your eyes. Couldn't imagine who you are right now. But my question is, I've heard from you, you would like to see community mostly get engaged in what you have been doing. And that defines your success. Because you want to see what could you do for the community to influence them to get engaged in your business so that you prosper higher and higher and higher. In return, it gives you giving to community gives to you. Gives the community gives to you. Everybody
That in itself, if I'm helping you to purchase your own property, that is your own benefit, because with time, the equity of your home, you gain that at the end of the day. And you're also helping me in my business by helping, if you choose to work with me when purchasing your home, I'm also gaining an income for my own living as well, right? Moving forward in the long term, it's things like this where I come to events more often because I know I've been working a lot and I haven't been attending as much as I want to. Possibly trying to join any committee that's available, and also I do provide financial donations as well to events like this. But in return, again, I do hope that you see the value that I give, apart from financial donations, but also the value I give in my words and in my expertise, that you also trust in me to work with me so that I can make an income for myself and grow my business. Businesses grow through referrals. An organization also grows through referrals, right? It's me being here, you showing up for me on my business, us spreading the word about ESSCA, us spreading the word about my real estate business, that it continues to grow, and connecting you to the right people. If I know anyone here that wants to become a real estate agent, I'm happy to walk you through the process, how you join my team, connect you to other people. The same way Christine is offering with her nurse business, that if you want to start this business, that she will help you to do it as well. So I think it's mutual in the way that I give as much as I can to the organization, to my people, and it's right and it's fair that you also do the same back, right? You can't just keep taking and taking from people. The same way other communities, they don't just give and give, they also want value from you as well. I hope that answers your question.
Ladies, I'm going to give you guys a break. Thank you very, very much for sharing it. I have one final thing to say. Perfect. So I'm just begging the men. So if most of us women are very creative, women they are really good in supporting. So just support your wife or support your girlfriend. If she has any idea, even if you don't have any idea, if you men don't have the idea, but the woman has it, just support them. You really, sometimes they want the approval from their husband. Like my husband say, okay, I'm here. With you, even I don't know anything yet, but I'm here to help you. It really empowers you to keep going. So I think that will really encourage many women to come out there without feeling shame, without judging themselves. And also don't speak negative on the women. Don't say you cannot do it. You say I'm the brave woman. Don't use the African mentality. This is Canada. You leave them behind. We are more, women are powerful, also men are powerful. We have to respect yourself, but if know your position, be loving, kind, and also support that woman. Thank you.